Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching from, whatever time zone you are watching me from. In today's video, I just want to do a quick review on BTC USDT. So let's quickly look at BTC USDT chart and let me share with you my personal opinion from technical standpoint and what I think um, will happen next in the market or what I'm waiting for. So this is just my technical outview, so I'll be very quick. There's no need to take your time on this video. Okay, now from the last video I did, if you follow up from the last video I did, we were discussing about the monthly time frame and we discussed about the structure that was obviously in the monthly time frame, which is this red candle here. I was in that video, I was opportune to explain to you that a structure can be whenever you see a red candle forming between green candles or whenever you see a green candle forming between red candles. So in the case of this structure, this is one singular red candle found in between green candles. You have one green candle, two green candle, three green candle. In between there, you have a red candle. So that's a structure. It is expected that market respects structures by coming down to retest the structural level here and bounce off. But BTC did not do that. Rather, what BTC did was um, what BTC did was to break below that structure. So from last month, I was saying that since market is currently trading below this structure, which is this red candle here, we will wait for the monthly candle to close, which is January candle to close. So I was expecting market to close around somewhere here, the body of this candle to close around somewhere here and turn bullish. But rather, the market closed with a bearish candle, which shows that the bear took charge of entire January. So for the past 3 months, bear has been in charge. Starting from where? Starting from November. November they took charge. December they took charge, and January again they took charge, having a very big bearish candle. Okay, so now this is a new month. So after an impulsive move, whether bearishly or bullishly, what do you expect? You expect the market to do a retest. So whatever is happening here right now might just be a retest. So because of this, we won't want to jump quick and conclude that the market want to reverse from here. Now, these are my reasons. First, because the market is currently below this structure, the market is still trading below this structure. That's for the monthly time frame. Now, when you go to the weekly time frame, what you get to see is that from the weekly time frame, in terms of market structure mapping, which is higher highs and higher low, you have your higher low here, and then you have your higher high. I discussed this from the last video. Then you have the last weekly swing, which is the last higher low on this chart here, higher low. And what did we say about higher lows and higher highs? We said for market to keep trending in an upward side, it needs to keep maintaining higher highs and higher lows. That is, the market don't need to come down below the higher low that it has formed so that the uptrend will continue. So you have your higher high here, the last higher high here. So now what has happened here? What has happened here is that the market dropped and retested this higher low. As you can see, the market dropped and retested this higher low. The higher low tried to hold the market up, but rather, later on, the market came down to break below this higher low. So now we are not trading below the higher low, which we said whenever a higher low is broken, it is the first sign that a trend is about to change. Now, when we say the first sign, it means that that's not a total conclusion that the trend has changed. The total conclusion for us to say a trend has changed is when a higher low is broken, and after the higher low is broken, a new lower low will be formed. For now, people used to call this lower low. This is not a lower low, this is just a low. This is how my own understanding of the chart is. This is just a low. So you just label here and call it a low was formed. When a higher low is taken out, it forms a low. A low was formed, or a low has been formed. Now we need a lower low. That is a low that will be lower than this low for us to conclusively say that the weekly chart is on a downtrend. So for that to form, now we have a retest. No, we need a drop down here, somewhere like this, to have a lower low. So when you have a drop like this, now you can call the new low that is formed now a lower low. Why are we not calling here a lower low? It would be that this place is lower than the previous low. So that's what I'm saying, lower low, lower than the previous low. Okay, so that is what should make us conclusively say weekly chart is in a downward trend. But for now, the weekly chart has made the first step into a downward bearish direction, which is breaking the higher low here. We have break below the higher low. Now we have had a drop, a pullback that is supposed to form a lower high. A lower high is what propagates and generates a lower low. So we can't conclude yet until the lower low is formed. Okay, so now what am I expecting? I am having two decisions in mind. The market either switch back into an upward trend or continue, complete this cycle of a downward trend, which is creating a new lower low, which I'm waiting for. So now, for we to say the market is back in track to the bull side, which is upward trend, the market needs to climb some levels of structure from the daily, which you can also see on the weekly. So, like I said, when a red candle is found in between green candle, that's a structure. When a green candle is found in between red candle, that's a structure. So when you look here, you have red candles and you have a green candle between it. So this is a structure that's currently holding the market back, and that's why you see the pump that's currently going on does not surpass this level easily, or is not surpassing this level easily. So now, when you see market breaking above this structure, then it is a sign that we have switched back to an upward trend, because by the time you now check on the daily time frame, you start seeing a clear sign. We'll get there and I'll show you the daily time frame overview. So then you have to wait for a retest to the structure that was broken, and then you start seeing higher highs and higher low form, and then start trading upward. So the market is currently in an unbiased, in fact, an indecision zone. Let's put it that way, because right now, if you are trying to trade the market here, you are trying to catch the market at an edge, because you want to catch sniper entry and start pricing yourself. You enter the market exactly where it turns, and that's one thing that usually affects most of us as traders. Want to catch sniper entries. So now, as far as I'm concerned, I am either going to wait for market to break this structure above. Breaking it above means we have come back above the higher low. Remember, this is the last higher low that the market broke below. I usually mark my higher lows and higher highs based on candle bodies. I don't use wicks, because the line chart don't take note of wicks. Look at it. If I go to the line chart now, you won't see the wicks again. So if the market comes above the higher low that was broken below before, it now tells me as a trader that this was a fake out, right? This break below the higher low, this broke below the higher low was a fake out. Because if it was not a fake out, it would have come down to create a lower low and continue trending downward. But if it is not a fake out, it will do that. But if it is a fake out, it will definitely come back up and switch inside the zone again, because the zone is broke, defy the laws of an upward trend. So until this zone is checked back in, we are not going to say we are back in track. Right now, we are not in any bullish market. We are in an unbiased market between the bulls and the bear as far as this weekly chart is concerned. So I've deduced and I've broken down the weekly chart for you. Okay, so you are either waiting for market to come back in track. After it come back in track, that's not enough for you to buy. You wait for a retest and then you buy from here, or you wait for market to create a new lower low. Once market creates a new lower low by dropping below here, it must not get as deep as here. As far the drop is below this point here, as far as it is below this former low here, we are okay. Whether here or here or here, whatever leg the market through. So, but anything trading below this low, that tells me that we are now in a downward trend. The market has broke structure to the downside. Completing the cycle of a change in trend. Because when a trend wants to change, the market first have to take out lows or highs. So right now we have taken out higher lows, which is the first sign. The second sign, which is a completion sign, is what? To create a new lower low. Okay, so you have to wait. That's the best thing to do right here on this particular spot where the market is at now. Wait. Okay, wait before you trade. Now let's go to the daily time frame, so I will see the more the overall this thing I'm talking about. Now when you go to the daily time frame and you try to mark out market structure, what you get to see is that, okay, I'll just mark out the obvious one. What you get to see on this chart is that I did the same thing last video. You get to see that market was trending upward from here. You have higher low, um, and then you have on the daily chart, the last higher low was here, right? So immediately the last higher low was formed, market created a higher high here, right? This is a higher high, sorry. This is a higher high. So now we said until market break below the higher low, the trend will continue going upward. What happened on the daily? The market came down and broke below this higher low. Now what I did, I took a sell on this trade, which some persons saw on my status. Now what I did was immediately market broke below this structure. Remember the rules. You don't conclude. Yeah, this is the first sign that Bitcoin was about to change the trend. So what I waited for a pullback and a drop below this structure. So then we had a drop below this structure somewhere around here, which now confirmed to me that totally we are now in a downward trend. So all I did was wait for my entry, which is this other block here. I just traded this other block. So I waited for a retest to this other block, and then I picked my entry from here, and I held BTC downward to this other block. This is where I took profit back then. So this is the same cycle I just showed you again, playing out on the day on the weekly time frame. So now let's continue the markup. I just use that to explain a quite a good example of what I'm saying on the weekly. So now market created started creating from here. Now we officially know that from here we are now in the downward trend on the daily, right? So market creates lower low, lower high, right? Market drop, created a wick around here. We had a range, and then the market take that range out from this lower high here, right? So this is the last lower low. Then market pulled back, tried to break. It did not. It started a pullback again. So this is the value lower high here that broke the previous lower low. Okay, sorry. Um, so then the market broke the last lower high, lower low from this lower high here. This is the last lower high, lower high. So the market broke and created a new lower low here. Now this is a new lower low, and then market pulled back, creating a new lower high around here. This new lower high pushed market down to create the last lower low on BTC USDT. So now, from the starting, I explained how we got here. So that means we are seeing a downward trade because in this particular daily chart right now, guys, this is the last lower low, right? This is the last lower low on the chart, and this lower low was formed by this lower high. So that's the last lower high on this chart. So for you to start saying Bitcoin is in a is in an upward trend on the daily, it has to come above this lower high. Okay, market has to break above this lower high, and then you have a retest before you start seeing maybe a higher high form, and then you say we are now in an upward trend. Then once a higher high is formed, all you need to do is to maybe use your Fibonacci or whatever strategy you are using. You can just draw your Fibonacci from here to here, wait for market to retest the golden ratio of the Fibonacci, which is this zone. You know, you just say buy from here, buy here. Very simple. So sometimes when the chart is indecisive, you just have to calm down, let it rearrange itself, recouple itself for you to trade. As far as I'm concerned, we are still in a downward trend, except you go to H4. Okay? Say you go to H4. That's when it tends to say we are now in an upward trend. Which on the H4 7, I will still need confirmation entry for me to conclude that. Okay? So if you check this mark region where I just mark on the daily, now this higher low, it tallies with the exact structure on the weekly, guys. Let's switch down to the weekly so you see it. It tallies with the exact structure on the weekly. How's this thing taking time to load? Okay, you see, it tallies with the exact structure. That's the dark line I marked on my daily, the higher low, I mean the lower high. So it tallies with this structure that I said market has to break above and retest. You see, market is fractal. All this time frame play hand in hand. So right now we are in an indecision zone. So persons might just want to trade this based on breakout and retest. They said, okay, this is a support zone. This is a support zone. Market broke below the support and retested it, and then they want to sell. Fine, that's correct. Because, like I said, we are still in a downward trend. But for a confirmation trader that want to wait to see the market clearly, you need to, especially for spot traders, before you think of buying, you need BTC trading above this block. You need BTC trading above this structure. You need BTC trading above this higher low. I mean, lower high. Okay, so I think these answer some of your questions. Talking about the H4 time frame. Now, if you do the marking out on H4 time frame, what you can see is that the last swing from the H4 time frame was here. The last swing from the H4 time frame was here, which is the last lower high that created this lower low. So how did I think I sent this to Bankole. I sent this to Bankole, Mr. Bankole, that's this programmer. I sent this to him then. We were doing a Zoom class, personal Zoom class. He paid for my one-on-one. So what we discussed then, I said, okay, now from the H4 time frame, Bitcoin has actually shown a bullish intent, which I also posted on my status, that we are having a bullish intent on BTC. This was where that sign came. Market broke above this higher low. And what did I say? I said once a higher low, I mean, a lower high is taken out, all you need is for market to create a new higher high for you to say the trend has changed. So the first sign that gave us this idea that Bitcoin has switched in trend. Oh, my suspicion has finished. I didn't even know about that. So the first sign that showed that Bitcoin has changed in trend from here was market taking out this higher low. So when market took out this higher low, you need to wait. This is the first sign. The second sign, which is the completion sign, is a pullback and a new higher high. So as soon as a new higher high is formed, you either use your Fibonacci to get entries by measuring from here to this place and taking entry from the 50% region, which is the golden ratio, okay? Or you trade it based on other block. So what I was discussing with him was the other block around here. So we marked out this other block and I was like, if market come back to retest this other block, we can buy from there. We can buy from this other block based on aggressive entry and then take it up to this opposing other block here, which is going to be our take profit. Or we will use confirmation entry. So if you are using confirmation entry, as soon as you get this switch to the upper side, this is a bullish intent, then you have this other block marked, market came back down, tap into this other block, then you look for confirmation entry by looking to your lower time frame sort of thing, which I don't want to discuss here, how we use our confirmation entry because it's part of my basic my intense strategy. So you look for confirmation entry, and if you were to look for confirmation entry, you will definitely get into BTC from here. You definitely get into BTC. Your entry will be from here. You tap in from here, and then you have your stop loss set maybe below here. And if that was the case, you'll be tapped into here. But the truth is, I didn't take this particular trade because when this retest occurred, I was not on chart. Rather, I was having a sell bias from retail perspective, which was this flag pattern around here. So I traded the sell and I made money, which I closed. I traded the sell, I took a sell around somewhere here, had my stop loss around 39 something, and then the thing dropped, which I closed. And then I was a bit waiting for market to consolidate and break out. So as soon as we had a breakout above this resistance, I took my buy around here. I think I posted this on Facebook. I took my buy around here because I know from this idea I explained before, I'm actually still expecting market to come tap into this other block here, which is roughly around 42,000 or 43K. Okay, and now that block will likely tap the market back down. So right now we are still in a downward trend bias, even though H4 is in an upward trend. The H4 time frame is just in an upward trend. Listen to this. The H4 time frame is in an upward trend so as to allow the daily time frame to retest. So whenever you see this kind of thing, like H4 can be in an upward trend while daily is in a downward trend because the higher time frame control the lower time frame. But moves from the higher time frame start from lower time frame. I've been saying this and I'll keep saying it. Okay, so the best thing to do is to fold your hand and watch. FOMO is not a good thing. FOMO is not a good thing. FOMO is not a good thing. I think I've shared my opinion, and whenever I have time, I'll keep reviewing the market and what to expect. So this is not what to expect right here. I'm not predicting anything. I'm saying what to wait for. Lastly, summary again. What to wait for? Wait for market to break above the higher lows on the weekly, on the daily. The lower high on the daily, because as far as H4 is concerned, H4 is now in an upward trend, and the kind of trade I trade, I make sure H1 and D1 are trading on the same direction before I take my trade. Right now, they are both not in the same direction. H4 is in an upward trend, D1 is in a downward trend. Yes, H4 is in an upward trend, D1 is in a downward trend. So I need either H4 to come back and suit what D1 is saying, or D1 to come down and suit what H4 is saying. So for D1 to suit H4, the market need to climb from the daily time frame to this level here and then create higher highs, which is breaking above the higher low, on defiling the law of a downward trend in a D1. So once this happens, it means H4 and D1 are not trading in the same direction. Once I have that, I take my buy. I don't joke with that. But as far as the two of them are saying the same thing, I don't do that. I don't trade against this trend when H1 and D1 are not telling me exactly the same thing. You get? So I'm either waiting for this or I'm waiting for H4 itself to change and switch down to a downward trend. How do H4 switch down to a downward trend from here? Because H4 right now has the last higher low here, it means for me to say H4 is now back to a downward trend, H4 has to come down below the higher low and return. This is an expo I'm just teaching you. You can use this to trade your own spot account by understanding higher highs and higher lows, just like this. So if H4 and break below this higher low, it means that H4 has now switched from an upward trend perspective to a downward trend perspective, which now give us the whole vibes that H4 is now in a downward trend, suiting D1, which I said both of them has to switch side. He said that H4 come and join D1 saying the same thing, or D1 has to come and join H4 saying the same thing, which I've already shown. Whichever one switch, make a decision from that. For now, I will be waiting. Don't expect me to send any signal, say buy or sell. No, a long candle don't freak us. Analysts like me, long candles like this don't push us to the market to trade. I only took this trade on my forex account. I bought just to eat from here to this particular other block here, which the market is almost at, and that's on my forex. Like I don't do that on futures, okay? Which on forex I was allowed to use a very tight stop loss on the trade, right? So I traded that breakout. So that is it, guys. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. The name remain Pat the Analyst. Sign out.